Hello, welcome to a Friday afternoon at the close to the end of March. My name is Fred Faulkner. I want to thank you and welcome you to my live stream today here on a Friday, talking about some of my insights and takeaways from Adobe Summit. For you that don't know, Adobe's largest digital experience conference was last week, and it was free, online, virtual for a third year in a row, 2.5 days of great content. And I wanted to kind of digest everything, take away, share some of my insights. We did some of this with some of my colleagues through work last week as well after the initial keynote. Now that I've kind of gone through the actual event, watched a lot of the sessions, wanted to kind of give you some of my perspective. So before I kick off and do any of that, quick disclaimer. So again, my name is Fred Faulkner. I work as a partner of growth, strategic growth here at ICF Next. This is on my personal banner, but because of my roles inside ICF, I want to do a quick disclaimer that the content that I'm going to share, the opinions that I'm sharing have, while we may be a strategic partner of Adobe, I do not have access to roadmaps. I don't have access to other strategic information. This is all my opinions and thoughts are shared by publicly consumed information and thoughts. So just kind of put that out there. And my views do not necessarily reflect the views and express the views of my company at the same time. So this is all about, according to Fred, my POV. Now the disclaimer is out of the way, why don't we get started? So I have 3 things and a bonus item to share with you guys around my thoughts around what happened with Adobe Summit and what's going on. The first one I want to share and my thoughts and perspective is that, Adobe has been in the game for a long time, and they've made a lot of moves over the year from acquisition to other elements. And I believe that finally their Adobe ecosystem is finally getting to a sense of maturity. They've made some of their initial acquisitions included Omniture, which is now Adobe Analytics. They did Day Software, became Adobe Experience Manager. They've done Marketo. They've done a Campaign, which was Neolane back in the day. They've made a lot of big, fat software purchases that have started to build out what is now the Experience Cloud. And even Adobe's way they talk about their ecosystems has evolved and matured. It used to be the Creative Cloud, there was the Document Cloud, and then the Experience Cloud. And within the Experience Cloud, there was the Marketing Cloud and the Analytics Cloud and the Commerce Cloud and a bunch of other things. And where they've really started to net out to is this kind of level of maturity. I think the integrations have started to really come together, even with the new acquisitions like Workfront and such. They're starting to pull things together. And I think it's really representative in something like this. As you look at Adobe's website on their business site, this is kind of where they're moving to when it comes to what their ecosystem is. So it's really about content and commerce, data insights and audiences, customer journeys, marketing workflows, and digital enablement, all powered by this data layer called AEP, or the Adobe Experience Platform, and then adding their AI ML tool, Adobe Sensei, for the artificial intelligence. This is the culmination of a long-term set of strategies. And I think they've now made it a little bit easier for the market to understand. I think they've made it a little more mature for their integrations. They're always going to continue to make that happen, and there will always be more integrations and more acquisitions. But my first takeaway from Adobe Summit, listening to the keynote, watching some of the sessions, is that I think their maturity level has really started to pay off. And we're seeing that from a consumer basis. We're seeing it from a partner basis. And I think the end result is that Adobe's living up to the promise that they can help companies create amazing digital experiences that bring value to their customers. So that's takeaway number 1, ecosystem maturity. And I think that is absolutely true. But that is the benefit of what I think my second takeaway is, and that is Adobe's long game play is taking off. And the way I'm putting it is this, if you think about it, you watch all these great movies, there's the long con. Now, I don't think Adobe's conning anyone, but I do think that they have put together some very long-term strategic plays that have now started to come to fruition. And this is where I'm seeing it come to life. First of all, you think about what they're doing with the cloud. They made a strategic partnership with Microsoft. A lot of their content is now sitting up inside the Azure services, which offers you access to a lot of things, including the AI and machine learning that it has to offer. They made a move to over a decade ago to move their Creative Cloud suite of tools into the cloud. They've started to move a lot of their other platforms into the cloud. Well, what does the cloud offer? The cloud offers aggregation, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to do and interpret new things, make automation and workflows faster. But where you're now seeing it benefit us as customers of the Adobe systems and the customers of Adobe are things like Creative Cloud being now able to export and integrate directly with Adobe assets. And not only that, you're seeing artificial intelligence and say, I'm going to upload a skyscraper, and that skyscraper image is now going to be automatically dynamically tagged by, it's a black skyscraper, it's maybe the Sears Tower or Willis Tower, depending on how it wants to be tagged because of its history. It's black, it's got certain size and dimensions. It might even have like a location because it's been recognized. Well, it's been recognized because Adobe's had access to that same image in a plethora of ways over the years. You can upload a dog, you can upload other imagery, and it's going to dynamically tag this information. And that's just one example of where the long-term game of, I think, acquisitions, putting things in the cloud, building up their AI platform is starting to really kind of now drive features that Adobe's customers are now being able to take advantage of. And I think that's actually really huge and really poignant to kind of think about. This isn't about just a revenue model. Of course, revenue is going to come out of it, right? But it's about enabling features, enabling content, enabling functionality because they can take advantage of all the other inputs that they've been able to do over the years. And that is because I think a long time ago, whether by happenstance when they decided to move Creative Cloud into the actual cloud, or if it ended up being a byproduct of, yes, we're going to move this, we're going to start to understand imagery. We're going to start moving analytics into the cloud so we start understanding consumer behavior. We're going to move other things into the cloud, content, so we can start understanding how the content creation is moving and coming along, and what the words are and how they're linked together, and how does that all deliver more relevant and intelligence to customers. So moving to the cloud, the long-term gameplay, and they're not the only ones that are doing it, but the long-term gameplay, I think, are now starting to see pay off, especially when you go back to the ecosystem maturity. You have now just not only the acquisitions, but even things like customer journey orchestration, customer journey analytics, real-time CDP. These are things that have taken a few years to now be their own content, their own creations, their own services, their own products that they're developing because of all the other acquisitions and the long-term game of moving to the cloud. I think are the really important things that are now starting to pay off for not only Adobe, but for marketers, but for businesses. All of us are starting to be able to see this long-term game play off as far as a competitive set inside the marketplace. So number two, long-term game is starting to pay off, in my opinion. All right. Lastly, my third point is that because of all this, marketers need to start getting excited. Shantanu and Anil made a very specific comment in the opening keynote, is that traditionally when you think about marketing technology, it's all been about a CIO or an IT department trying to figure out how they're going to enable their customers, internal business customers, and it's been a technology play. And again, long-term moving to the cloud where these are now SaaS solutions, where there's less development needed. I mean, there's always gonna be custom development, but there's less direct development needed. Now marketers can start to get excited. They can see how their workflows are starting to come together. They're going to see how artificial intelligence can make automation and automate elements faster so they can get to market faster and realize value faster. And these are all the benefits of the first two elements. Marketers are now going to start to see this investment pay off. IT is going to see reduction in their overhead and their needs. And this is where the value proposition comes into play. And it's not that these things haven't been available before. Clearly, Adobe's been selling these items and their products and being able to sell value proposition. But I think marketers should really start to get excited about where things like CDP is going, where customer journey analytics and orchestration is going, where the upsell, the opportunities for insights, the automation components, things like Workfront for your single kind of marketing source of truth are all important things that marketers are going to start to see efficiency in their game to deliver value to their customers. So marketers should definitely get excited, especially now you can see things like Creative Cloud integration. Businesses, from B2B space should also see, excitement because of now the Document Cloud with Adobe Sign and more robust forms and Acrobat get integrated. These are the things that businesses and marketers need to get excited about because it's going to derive value much faster. So those are the kind of the three big things that I'm taking away, right? I said in a ton of sessions about personalization. I said in a ton of sessions about real-time CDP. I said in a ton of sessions about customer case studies. And it's great. Adobe Summit is a fantastic event because it had over 200 sessions available for you to watch. And you're all on demand. I definitely highly encourage you to go check it out. I really enjoyed Sneaks and where they're going with some of these new products and the solutions that are coming out of that. Awesome. Very, very cool things. But the one thing I do want to say, and this is just it's not necessarily a knock against Adobe because everybody does this, but here's my other takeaway, my bonus item takeaway from Adobe Summit. And that is, guess what? Nobody's doing it really well yet. And I say yet, right? Maturity, it goes not only from Adobe's ecosystem, but your own marketing organization's maturity, your own IT's organization's maturity. I think organization maturity takes a is a big part of being able to take advantage of the technology that's now being delivered to you. I think having seen what your long-term game, what your long game looks like and how it applies to a whole MarTech ecosystem, because Adobe doesn't do it all, but how does it apply to your ecosystem? That long game play is going to start to pay off as well. And again, marketers and CDOs and others are starting to see that get excited, but nobody is doing it exceptionally well. I think even with all the case studies they want to bring up on stage and all the case studies you see in the actual sessions themselves, they're going to give you poignant little nuggets of where it's working, but nobody is really doing it exceptionally well. I think there's industries and verticals that are going to continue to kind of advance further when it comes to real-time personalization. Because really, at the end of the day, we're now getting to the point of one-to-one personalization. I think, last 10 years, we've heard about personalization that's advanced from Hello Fred to knowing a little bit about your account to being able to kind of share some information, maybe some predictivity of where I want to make a next purchase. But to get into really to one-to-one personalization, we're now finally starting to get there. I would say the last 3 to 5 years has been more about segment personalization. I fit a demographic, I fit a geolocation, I fit a number of segments that can be combined together to give me personalization that we might have called more real time. I think finally we're getting closer to what real time personalization with real time customer data transfer, passing back and forth to make actionable intelligence or make intelligence actionable, to provide offers, to provide value. We're finally getting there. But no one is doing it exceptionally well. I think we're going to continue to see snippets. And of course, no one's going to have any of their big user conferences without a big main stage, examples of things and the stories that go with it. But if you really want to dig into the weeds, if you really want to dig down into how it's actually being done, I don't think anyone's doing it exceptionally well yet. But I think we're getting close. And I think that getting close is super important. So 3 items: ecosystem maturity, long game is paying off, marketers are getting excited. My bonus item being no one's really doing it well, but you should get excited about what is coming. Those are my 3 takeaways from Adobe Summit 2022. With great power comes great responsibility. I think any of my colleagues will just laugh when I continue to say that, but technology, and specifically marketing technology, continues to outpace what organizations can do with it. And so when you're given the keys to a big set of ecosystems, to a big set of long, gnarly integrated systems of record, you have to be really smart about what you're going to do with that. And so value comes out of when it's the right place, the right time, the right message, and all the things that delivers value to me. But my value proposition is different than your value proposition. And organizations now are getting more and more of the tools to be smarter about how to deliver that. But they can also lose that trust, lose that value proposition in a heartbeat when you get a little aggressive and you get a little greedy and you get a little trying to meet a number that is maybe not right there yet for your customer base. So as you look at your ecosystems, you look at what's available from these platforms, remember, there's going to be technology and features that are going to be way outpaced on what you're ready to take on. You should strive to mature yourselves to be able to take advantage of them, but know that it comes with a risk. So be prepared to do that in small doses so you can see what works out well and what doesn't. And I think there's no better tool than some of the big players out there, and Adobe is right there at the top to deliver your MarTech ecosystem, be part of your MarTech ecosystem to deliver better value to your customers with digital technology. So that's it today. My 3 things, my bonus item. I hope you have a great weekend and a great rest of your day. My name is Fred Faulkner. This is According to Fred. Take care.